Good evening, people. It is May 20. Good evening, people. Good evening, people. It is May 25th, 2020, and it's 2:12 p.m. Central Time here in Boston, Massachusetts. Amen. All right. And today is Monday. All right. And this is my topic is called Hard Knocks Part 2. All right. And I'm going to talk to you today because I spoke a little earlier, but I wasn't finished. I had some things to take care of, all right? All right, so let me talk to you. If you feel my hair, my skin, my clothes, my teeth, my walk, or anything that I have or do is not like of you, then do what Jesus would do. You will come and be a blessing to me so that you can get the blessing too. Amen. So that you can get the blessing too. Because whenever Jesus did a miracle and he did a work for his people, he did not go around and talk about it. He did not gave the blind man eyes and brag about what he did. He even with the Samaritan water, he told her that the water that the food that he gave, man would never be hungry. And the water that he gave, that man would never thirst. But even when he filled that cup and that bucket, he didn't go around and say, look what I did. No, what he did was told you as well as them, do as I do. Learn of me. Follow me. All right. So, hard knocks. All right. So you said I'm hard knocks, right? I'm glad to be in the number one more time. I'm glad that I came from the hard knocks school. I'm glad that I came from the hard knocks lifestyle. Oh, I'm glad because I'm going to tell you why. All right? And I ain't pushing my tongue back just in case somebody watch them. I'm glad. You know why? Because my grandparents, the late Earl and Eunice Remay Hicks, who have raised me, who have taught me how to be a hard knock, who have taught me how to use these hands and to do the things that I can do today. Because a lot of these young people to do the things or won't do the things that I'm able to do. Amen. See, I worked in the field. I know how to shed corn. I know how to shed up peas and beans and go out there and pick them. I know how to go pick up them okra. Matter of fact, grow them and pick them. Your peaches, your pears, your plums, your berries. I know how to go crabbing. Oh, yes. Like I said, when me and my ex-husband, we've been married over 10 years before we got divorced. And I went hunting with my ex-husband one time. And the reason why I did that, because I was like, I ain't gonna go out there. But he taught me. I know how they call the deers, because it was a certain whistle that they use, and they get up on top of that ladder in that treehouse that they built. I know when it's kind of skin it. I know how to wring a chicken neck, cut the chicken head with the axe, pluck them feathers. Oh, yeah, there's a whole lot of process to do to clean that chicken. But see, you all don't want to get your hands dirty. Oh, no, because you got your weave, your $400 weave, and you got your nails, and now you look good. Hard knocks. Let me tell you something. I didn't know nothing about a cell phone, right, until I became grown. And that was in my late 20s when I learned about a phone. And I started working when I was what? Matter of fact, at 16 years old, right? When I say work on man job, I ain't talking about working out there in the field and working a tractor with my granddaddy and the wag weeder. Oh, you don't know about that. And pulling on weeds. Oh, no. You don't know about that. See, long before they had the riding lawnmower, we had the push lawnmower. And long before we had that the wash machine. Now, I grew up for both sides because I stayed with my grandparents until I was 6, 7 years old. And then I moved to Massachusetts with my mother and my stepfather. So I learned both worlds. And when I came back, I stayed with my grandparents again. And I worked in the field with my grandmother, even with my little broken legs. Because at 22 months old, I was walking on my toes instead of my feet. And I was in an accident with my grandmother. So they took a bone out of my leg and put it in my feet. That's why before I was walking like this, and it was so that I could able to walk flat. And the doctors told my mother that I would not be able to do a lot of things that most girls my age would do. At that time, I was younger. But I played ball. I ran track. I did it all. See, the devil was a lie. But I've done the wheelchair. I've done the bedridden. I mean, I had casts with heels on it, like this thick. Mm-hmm. And they had to walk me to the bathroom, and to the point that they got tired of having when they would dress me with the cast on my leg and in the bed. And then I remember my mother and my stepfather, sometimes my cousin, each time I had to go to bed, they put the bedpan under me. But before they did that, they had to keep cutting underwears off me to get the underwears off. So they stopped, and what they did, put a bedpan. So you don't know about that. Oh, no, you don't know about the hard knocks. Oh, no, you don't know about that. You don't know about taking care of people. When my grandmother took her aunt and her uncle, I was right there in the house. And when my mother's older sister, see, I was there in the house when my mother's older sister used to get hit and beat and everything. I remember all that. I was there in the house. My aunt Lee Joyce had a bladder infection, and she lived with one kidney and on dialysis. And matter of fact, she was diabetic. That's right. And we had to pump water out of her. But see, you don't know about that. There was sometimes she was able to go to the bathroom and let some of the water out. But the way her body was, she was only able to let a little bit, and we had to pump the rest out. Sometimes we have to wake her up in the middle of the night. And we used to say, Lee Joyce, get up. Lee Joyce, get up. We got to pump this water out you. But you don't know about that. You don't know about hearing that rooster crowing at night or early in the morning. You know about going out there and going to get that wood, to put in that wood in here so the house could get warm. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Amen. Oh, see, that's a hard knock school. See, you all, and I say that because yes, I have both lives, the city and the country life. I don't ever remember my grandmother going to the store and getting anything except for certain things like flour and sugar, right? Maybe butter. That kind of stuff. And you know what? Like the milk that we drink now, we used to have the cornflakes. You all don't remember cornflakes with the rooster on it. That was the old-fashioned cornflakes with the rooster on it. And the milk we used was the pet milk that you go with the carnation milk. Yeah, that's what we use. That one. Or we had to make our milk with the powder milk. I still got it in my cabinet, and I live in a city and got it. Hard knocks. And some of you in the South, you're gonna understand where I'm coming from. You see, even though I live in a city, and you talk about low income and living in the projects and all that other stuff. See, back then, you didn't have that. You didn't have Section 8. Oh, no. Oh, no, you didn't have that. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, you didn't have all that. But when you did have it, you learned to appreciate it. And you know what? When it came down to work, I started my first job. I worked for McDonald's. My very first job for a man. I worked for McDonald's on Hilton Head Island. And I was a trainee, then I went to be cashier. Then I worked for Burger King and drive-thru on Hilton Head Island. And then from there, I worked for the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Look it up. Hyatt Regency Hotel and Hilton Head Island. That's where Trump got his golf coat at. And you know what I was? I was a housekeeper then. And let me tell you something. Like how you all get to work now, the cab, the bus, the train, like we get here, we didn't have that. We had what they call the Lotto bus. And that Lotto bus picked you up at 4 a.m. So imagine you got to be to work. I don't care if you're a businessman, a CEO. I don't care if you work at a hotel. I don't care if you have a job at McDonald's or Burger King or pushing weed or taking care of a patient at home. If you have to be to work at 9 o'clock, you better be up at 4 a.m. to catch that Lotto bus. And that Lotto bus, once they get everybody, they got to Hilton Head. And you know when that bus leaves Hilton Head again? That Lotto bus didn't leave till 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So imagine you up on Hilton Head. You get up and work. Some other people haven't got up yet. It's only one bus that go from the Lotto, from Hilton Head, back to Fairfax, Allendale. And that's it. Oh, yes. Look it up. Right? And the reason that's like that, because and where I'm from, they don't have the population that you have like New York and Boston, Chicago, whatever. Now, in Savannah, they have the CAT bus. Like the buses that we have, the Metropolitan bus. Yes, you do. But I guarantee they don't have as many that we have here. Like where the bus come every 10 minutes or every 11 minutes. See, I can walk up my door and I can go to the bus stop right here. And a bus come where I'm going from here to the station or wherever I go every 11 minutes. Or every 20 minutes, depends on what I'm looking for. The Civil Line 3, the Civil Line 4, Civil Line 5. Or if I got to take the number 8, the UMass, or the number 1, the Harvard University, the Cambridge. It depends on where I'm going. So you'll know about that. But when that bus leave from the Lotto bus leave from Hilton Head and come back home at 5 or 6 o'clock, by the time you get home, it's 8 o'clock at night. Now imagine if you got kids, people. Imagine if you got kids. I don't care if you got 2, 3, or 4. Your kids have been in school 8 hours. You haven't even been home to help your kids with their lesson. You haven't been home to cook them their meal. When you do get home, it's to get their clothes ready for school the next day, pack their backpack, take you a shower, and take your behind to sleep because you got to get up the next morning. And if you miss the bus, honey, ain't no other bus coming. You better try to find a ride to get you to Hilton Head because there was no cab. Now, recently, they just started out a little Uber. But it's been years before they had that. It's been years. We don't have trains like that. We got Amtrak, and Amtrak comes whenever. Oh, yes. See, the Hard Knocks. See, I come from the Hard Knocks. I come from when we had the mechanical watt machine. And when I did, like I said, when I did learn about a watt machine with my parents and living in an apartment, because my parents have land. They have a house. We have one of our family members lived in a house while we were living in Boston. But even when I was living in Seaver Street and moved to Nathan Court from Mattapan to Dorchester, we did it. But we still never knew nothing about no laundromat. I didn't know about a laundromat until I ended up in a shelter. And I'm going to tell you how I got there. Because I came back to Boston in 2008. By 2011, I sprained my feet in 3 places. I was at the dance ministry. And I kept my feet like that. And I kept with a cast on my leg. And I still went to school. And that time I was enrolled at Everest Institute Dental School. So you can say what you want to say about me. I'll tell you about that too. Not one time did I do a handout. Paid my way through school. Completed. Did radiology. Completed. With a boot on my leg. By 2013, 2015, I went to Capella University. Finished that. Oh, yes. Let me tell you something. Hard Knocks. You see, in 2000, and 16, me and my aunt was going through something. When I lived with my aunt, I paid my way there. Okay, I paid for where I was doing. And yes, at the time, I was getting my little welfare check, and then I had a little job, and then I paid for me to where I stayed because I paid for where I want to eat. All right, and when I had a phone, I kept my phone for 2, 3 years before I got a new one. See, I wasn't like you all. Every time a phone come, you get. I had a whole new computer, had my own desk, had it all, and was going to school, and I did it. And so my aunt and I, my uncle, he was one of those that political head, so we couldn't take it. So I left, and I had already filled out with Boston Housing Authority about apartments. So my name was already on the list. So I only stayed. I went to Pine Street Inn, and it was winter, and it was snowing. And I had on my backpack, I had my clothes, and I went and I walked. And it was on Mass Ave, not too far from Boston Medical Center. And I said, let me go and see what this place is about. And I went there. And the first day, the lady said, you could get a free bed that day. That doesn't mean you pay for it, okay? When they talk about free, meaning you have to go through a lottery. I didn't have to do that. So I said, no, I'll come back. When I did come back, I stayed at Pine Street Inn. I had no case manager, no nothing. I didn't even do that. Now, if you didn't get a bed that night, right, what they do, they send you to Cambridge, or they send you to Woods Mellon, which is the other shelter, which is next to Boston Medical, which is right next to it. All right? That's what they do. I know what it's like to sleep on a floor, hard floor. I know what it's like to sleep on a folding bed, because I had one of them. I know what it's like. Bunk beds. Because even when I was living in my mother's house, me and my parents, and living in an apartment, I had twin beds, bunk beds, you name it. Full-size bed to the point I had a queen-size bed. I had it all. But hard knocks. Oh, yes. So when I left on Pine Street Inn, and I went to Woods Mellon, for a while, I stayed inside all day. I never would leave. And I remember I went to go get therapy on my legs, because right there at the hospital for therapy. And I would go to whenever I have doctor's appointments, I did. But I would take my backpack. And you know what? I had a bag, which was like the size of a shopping bag. That and my backpack with me. Every day we would have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes I would get up a little early, because if I go to bed early, I got up early enough to go and hit that shower before a lot of them girls go in there. You don't know about that. There's going to be a lot of women in there. I done seen all types of women. Gay, straight, LGB, you name it. I've been there. I saw it all. So some of you sitting there talking about, oh, you talk about breast, coochie, all that. Baby, I done seen all of that. All right? And it didn't even faze me because I wasn't gay or none of that. I was literally seeing all of that. Because that's the way I was exposed to. But you know what? In the midst of it, I stood. I didn't let things tear me down. I might have shed some tears. I might have cried some nights. I might have talked myself to sleep some night. I might have had some few nightmares some night. But you know what? Through it all, I stood. And then finally, I had a case man named Rochelle Smith. She was a black woman. And we talked. And she helped me. And then I had another lady case manager. And we was talking, and she was like, you know, you too educated to be here. I said, I know. But there was a mission I was set out to do. And I only been in there 1 year. And during that year, I did not stay there and did nothing. I went back to school and I enrolled at Roxbury Community College to go and get another degree. And that's when I went into business management and got my associate in science and business management and accounting. And every morning when I would get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I didn't really eat there. We had the, the little cup cereals that your kids eat at school. We had that. We had sandwiches. Breakfast sometime will be little individual wrap things and then little kids' milk and stuff. We had that, and lunch would be sandwiches and salad. That's what we had every day. Sandwiches and salad every day for lunch until dinner time. So I would leave, do my card, tap it, they check you out. 7 o'clock, I was gone. And my first class went to 12 o'clock noon. And that was my accounting class. My first class was at 12 o'clock. But I was at the school at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I sat at that library from the time 8 o'clock that when I arrived at RCC, and I walked to school. Even though I had the MBTA, even though I had a bus pass to get, but I walked. And I stayed at the time for my class. And my last class then entered 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And sometimes what I would do was leave from school and go to Rosie's place and eat lunch there and take the bus and come back to go to my night class on Monday night. If I had a class on Monday night, which is my business management class. Oh, yes, I did it. Hard knocks. And I only been at the school 1 year and graduated with honors. Then I got enrolled at UMass Boston. UMass Boston in the honors course. I only been there 1 year when it takes some people 4 years. And I'm graduating. And I did it. I push, I pull, I push, I pull. I study. I do what I have to do. When I went into dental school, when I went into barbering, when I went to nursing center, and see somebody talked about they went to medical nursing program school to get into nurse. Honey, I did that in my early 20s with nursing. Oh yeah, hard knocks. Because I used to take care of my grandmother and take care of my patient. I would get up and I had the car that I had 5 cars. Right? My last car was a 1991 Buick LeSabre. I know what I'm talking about. Because my ex-husband had a blue one, I had the red one. And I had a 1996 Saturn. And it was green. Yes, sir. And so what I would do, I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to go take care of 2 patients first. Mr. Brown, because he had to go to senior citizen, get him washed, feed him, change him, shave him, everything, and his bed, and put him in his chair and wait for his ride to come, which means we have here the ride here in Boston, but them is called council agent, and they come to get him, and I left. Then I would leave him and go to a white lady's house. And I did everything in her house the same way I did Mr. Brown and get her ready. But the only difference is I had her ready for her son when he got on. I had a key to the house. I would go in, get her laundry, get her washed, get her clean, do what I had to do. Sometimes the house wasn't together, but that was all right. I didn't care about how nasty or clean or what the house was. But the fact that I cared about was the patient. And when I would leave from them, I come back home. I got my son ready. I took him to Christian Academy School. I picked him up. Hold on. I took him to school, right? I went to school, drove to Denmark, come back, pick Ethan up. I went home to take care of my grandma. And then I had to be to work at John E. Harding Nursing Home from 3 to 11. And sometimes, even after that, when Ethan got out of that school and went into the regular public school in Carolina, sometimes I used to do 3 shifts at one time, 11 to 7, 7 to 3, and then went back to 3 to 11. Sometimes they don't let you do it, but see, they allowed me to do it. Sometimes I did that, and they get no sleep. You talking about hard knocks? And if you were short in the hall, I had one hall to myself, and my co-worker had a hall to herself. Imagine, you got bedridden people. And when I said bedridden people, I'm talking about those that are confined to a bed, that has stage 4 bed sores, that the doctors cannot sew it. It is to the back of their bone that you can see. You had to pack them. And see, they trained me. Not only was I a CNA, I was a medical trainer. I was trained. I was first aid, CPR, blood pump pathogens. And let me tell you what blood pump pathogens. That's like the people of CDC, Central Control Disease. Yes, that's what they do. Central Control Disease. That's what they do. Blood pump pathogens. So I was trained to know how to pack a bed sore and put the tape on and write the date on it. So when it gets changed again, sometimes you have to turn them and put the pillow on their back so they can stay on their side. Put one in between their legs. All right. Do range of motion with them so they won't be stiff. Oh, yeah. Some had to be clean their tube because they get feeding tubes. And I used to hear the girls, sometimes I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this. I don't get paid for this. I've seen patients get hurt. I've seen patients get beat. I've seen patients got cussed out. But you see, you talk about hard knocks. I'm glad for my hard knocks. I'm glad because I learned how to work. I'm glad I learned how to be the woman I am today. And that's why I can say the things that I say every day, or when I'm on my YouTube or my Facebook, because I've been there and I've done that. Because I was trained. And you can call me anything you want to call me. And see, the only reason, like I told her in my last two, the reason that my mouth is the way it is because I had got surgery, right? And so I had a posture done. I had a posture done to my teeth. And so when the dentist, I knew what the dentist talk about because I took dental school. I know the numbers of my teeth. How you doing, Evelyn? That's right. I know the dentist. I know the numbers on your teeth. I know what they do. I know how they write it. So what I did was when I was cleaning, I cleaned up everything and I didn't realize that I grabbed the posture because it was so small and I threw things in the trash. And then by the time the trash man came, it was too late. So the dentist is making me new ones. The dentist is making me new ones. But I don't want you to be fooled, looking at what I look like on the outside. And that's just not just for me, anybody. You don't look at people outside. You look at their heart on the inside. Because it's not about what they look like here. It's who they are on the inside. Because you could be beautiful, pretty good looking, and could be a crook and a robber. You see, let me tell y'all something. I'm going to tell you. I'm telling you, I'm coming down with y'all. Like I said, I didn't know nothing about a cell phone until I was fully grown. My parents didn't give me a cell phone. I had to work for it. Some of y'all parents, y'all sit there and you let your kids talk down to you and call you all kinds of names. And when they get mad, I'm sick of you, this sick of, honey, I was brought up that, you talk about, I had a loose tooth. I had a loose tooth and I had to go to, honey, I would have been dead. Or my grandparents would have took all my teeth and they wouldn't have to worry about it. Oh, yes. I had a cousin whose son used to go in there and tell his mama, this is my room. You coming in my room and it's privacy. See, this is what y'all parents make a mistake at. They don't pay no rent. They don't pay no gas. They don't pay no lights. They don't buy no heat in the house. And you let them tell you what's what. Honey, what my cousin did, they took the hinges off the door. And they took the door and they told him, when you get grown and you feel like you need a door, then you buy your own. Oh, yeah, I did that with my own kids. Mine's grown. He works at the airline. That's right. They grown. But when every time they go that talk to the hand thing, see what y'all do, y'all play with your kids. You can't play with them. But at the same time, you can't abuse them either. But you let them know the Bible says spare the rod and spoil the child. It's time to let go. But see, you all get this give them this at 8 and 9 years old. And before you know it, they're talking to they think they're talking to some little boy or some little girl, and they're talking to a grown man or a grown woman who is lowering them, pretending they're 10 and 11 years old. See, I know what I'm talking about. Because one day, I actually did it using my criminal justice knowledge. And I actually did it for a mother. And I got on the child Facebook, and I played as if I was a 16-year-old. And I wanted that mother to see the type of thing that child was doing, talking to a person. And I did it. And I said, watch. And I said, see, this is what I told you. When you get objects like games and phones, you better learn it before they get it. Because these kids are smart. They know how to break codes. You know what? I got a little nephew. He ain't number 8 years old. He knows how to get into Netflix. He tells me things how to get in a passcode, a parental code, all that stuff. So y'all better watch that. And that's why I'm for parents. And that's why I'm for y'all mothers. And I know about hard knocks. Because, see, I grew up in a hard school. Because you didn't give no kid no phone. You know what? If a child, see, I have a lot of parents tell me this. Well, I give them a phone because when they're at school and they need to call me. That's what the principal office for. Because a lot of times they in class, especially your teenagers, they in class and the teacher talking to them and they text them. I know what I'm talking about because I'm in college and I know some of the young girls that be in school and they text them. They text them while they got their computer. Yes, they're taking the notes off of the projector, but at the same time, there was a lot of time my professor be talking, and I have a classmate next to me, and they texting. So imagine what your kids be doing at school. Imagine what they're doing in that room. See, don't be letting them tell you, oh, it's privacy, it's my room. Honey, if they ain't paying no rent, no gas, no light, no water, and you provide it, that's your room. My grandfather used to say it. He had a whole thing. When you get grown people have their own thing. When you grown and you got your own house, you can hang your hat the way you want it. Oh, yes. That's hard knocks. They don't know nobody getting out there putting potatoes in a potato sack. They don't know nothing about that. They want to work. They want to get out there so bad. Let me tell you something. I remember when we graduated from high school from Wade Hampton, a lot of the white girls, and I'm not picking at the Caucasian or black, I'm telling both sides. They were glad to get them a job. They didn't mind working at Piggly Wiggly. They didn't mind working at Super Duper. They didn't mind pushing buggies and different things because they learned to earn their money to get their car and do little things they want to do. They didn't mind that. Now, kids think you're supposed to just hand it to them. No, I didn't learn that way. I learned to work for what I wanted. So you talk about me, hard knocks? I got a right to come up on the hard knocks. I got a right to say the things that I say because I'm trying to help some families. I got a right to say what I got to say because it's going to make a difference in the eyes of mothers. See, during this pandemic you're going through now, that we all going through, that's the time you can sit down and talk with your kids about what life was like for you. During this time, you can spend time with them. While you got the option, don't be so quick to run out there when there's no cure for the vaccine right now. Right? Don't be so quick to get out there. And your little young girls, don't be so quick to run out there with the hot boys. Because you got a long time for that. You got a long time for that. I'm trying to help y'all. All those games and all that stuff, you can always get that. Because after a while, this is an Apple phone. In a couple of weeks, now they got a new Apple phone. And some of y'all in China, they make these phones, right? You know how much these phones really is? They're $1,000, $2,000 in Japan, in China. Because most everything that we have, Japan makes them and China make them. That's why you say made in China. But when we get it, it's a little cheaper for us. Some of y'all breaking your house payment. Some of y'all breaking your life insurance money just so you can give your kid $300-400 sneakers and those phones. You know what? You call me cheap all you want, but let me tell you something. The most I ever paid on sneakers is $50. If I pay 60 or 70, maybe, and JC Penney's. You can laugh at it, but that's what I do. Or I go through DSW downtown. That's right. Because $200 sneakers? No, ma'am. I don't have pocketbooks. I got a pocketbook right here. It ain't no Calvin Klein. It ain't no Gucci. But you know what? It's serving the same purpose. It ain't no $700 pocketbook either. Y'all better mind. See, when you all got your stimulus check, y'all were doing a cookout for everybody else. And all they were doing was bringing a plate to you. Say, give me. And now you got rent. You got mortgage. You got house insurance. You got life insurance. You got medical insurance. Your kids need. I know I'm helping somebody. So I'm glad that I came up on the Hard Knocks. Amen. I'm glad I come on. So like I said, y'all, I'm getting ready to get off here. I love y'all. I may not have no supporters. I may not have nobody to, but I hope that I'm reaching somebody, and I hope that there's somebody out there that understands where I'm coming from. But if you have any questions, you can email me at DLaSalle, capital D, DLaSalle, because my name is Denise LaSalle Williams, DLaSalle43@outlook.com, or you can subscribe to my channel. You can cash at me if you want to. I'm not about asking for nobody for no money for nothing. That's not me, because I learned how to work for what I want. It's cash app is $ capital UMass, capital UMass 2025. But I'm not asking for that. All I want to do is be able to help you and your family and being able to be a survivors. And be glad that you come on the Hard Knock School. Be glad when someone talk down to you and tell you, oh, you live in this old house and you live in an apartment and you live in the projects or whatever. Say, I thank God I got a roof on my head. Tell them, say, thank God. If you don't have nothing but peanut butter and jelly sandwich in your refrigerator, say, thank God I got something. Because there's somebody out there want and wish they can have what you got. That's right. So I love all y'all. I love y'all. Like I said, if you have any questions, you can email me on my personal email, DLaSalle43@outlook.com, or you can catch me on my Facebook. And if you have a topic you want me to talk about, if it's a scripture you want me to read, and we can talk about it, I can go to I got plenty of Bibles. I got plenty of Bibles on it. I got an Open Living Bible, Woman Devotion Bible, Black History Bible, Hebrew and Greek Bible. I got Spanish Bible. Oh, yes, I got it. I got commentaries. So we could go in there. We can let my channel be just all about trying to help people. We're not about beeping one another, talking about one another, because we're not about that. Maybe what I did in my past or what I did. But you know what? At least I'm a woman enough to say, yes, I did whatever I did. That's life. That's how we grow. All right? So be good and take care of your family and love your kids. Hug your kids. When you see your kids today, hug them and say, baby, I love you. And get on your knees and get together with them and pray. And say, Jesus, thank you for my children. Thank you for and teach them our Father prayer. And before they go outside, say, no, we're going to pray before you go outside. No, we're going to sanitize your hands and put your mask on, and we're going to pray. We're going to talk to the Lord. We're going to just tell God, thank you, and bless that you go out there safely and come back safely. Because there's always somebody waiting outside, snatch your kids too. You got to be careful about it. And parents, if you got little kids, do not leave your kids outside by themselves. I don't care if it's on the swing set. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right? I love y'all.